We're here with the refresh 2026 Toyota Corolla Cross, the subcompact crossover that has an available hybrid, which I saw 45 miles per gallon earlier today in my driving. This is getting about 31 miles per gallon. This is the non-hybrid. You have your choice. Should you save a little bit of money and get this powertrain, or should you get that hybrid? That's what this video is going to be about today. And make sure to stay to the end, because I will give you my recommendation on which Corolla Cross powertrain is best for you. Underneath the hood of the Corolla Cross non-hybrid is a naturally aspirated 2-liter 4-cylinder, has 169 horsepower, 151 pound-feet of torque. The hybrid is standard all-wheel drive. This is standard front-wheel drive with available all-wheel drive. This has a CVT, but it has a real first gear to start off from a stop, and then it shifts into a continuously variable transmission after that. The hybrid gets, well, in my testing, just briefly today, well over 40 miles per gallon, 44 to 45 miles per gallon. Again here, 31, 32 is what I've seen before letting this idle here. And we'll do a 0 to 60 because even though they're similar in output numbers on paper, similar-ish, the acceleration between these two cars couldn't be any more different. All right, this is actually a new front end for the Corolla Cross. Pretty much everything down here is not that much different than the hybrid. Fog lights, paint match down here at the bottom. Speaking of paint, this is Mazda's Soul Red Crystal Metallic. It's like almost a $500 option here. Fantastic paint color. Of course, you can get on the hybrid too. But there's also new for 2026 is a Cavalry Blue, which is a no-cost option. It's a beautiful paint color. Watch my hybrid review. The hybrid has a smoked out Toyota logo. This one, nice and chromy with a glossy black bezel around it. I personally preferred the looks of the hybrid a lot over this, but let me know in the comments which front end do you like better. Just like the XSE of 18-inch wheels, but the XSE has this kind of glossy black, which looks a little bit more sporty. This has a two-tone gray and machine finish. We have a sparkly dark mirror here, turn indicators in here. This does not have the two-tone paint option. I believe that's only on the XSE, maybe SE as well for the hybrid models. Roof rails, smart key access up front here on this XLE model. Bright chrome window strip here. As I mentioned on my hybrid video, this has a muffler butt. When you drive behind the Corolla Cross, it looks terrible with the muffler sticking out, like the rear bumper's too low and you just exposes a muffler. It looks really tacky. All right, XLE here, all-wheel drive badge. On the XSE model, all this is blacked out, which looks, in my opinion, a little bit better, but let me know if you guys like that. Let's get in the cargo area. Is this a chief competitor to this car? Rolls right up. And the Kona. There's some things that the Kona does better, but this is not a comparison today between this car and that car. JBL sound. All right, into the cargo area. We have a little subwoofer back here for JBL sound system. We actually have a spare tire. The hybrid did not have a spare tire. That is crazy. If you want a spare tire, it comes on the non-hybrid, but you are out of luck on the hybrid. That's frustrating. All right. Tonneau cover back here, that's an optional thing. One light, and just like the hybrid, there's a little bit more storage back here actually, but just like the hybrid, there's no accessory power. There's no 12 volt back here. That's a bit of a miss. More so on the hybrid, it's more of a miss because you have electrical in that car. All right. So JBL subwoofer, the sound system's pretty good back here. Of course, you can fold these seats down 60-40. Let's go ahead and get in that back seat. Also, we have the optional electronic lift gate here. All right, in the back of the Corolla Cross non-hybrid, same sort of thing. You know, this sort of light brown interior is called Portobello, like the mushroom. But yeah, a little cup holder and a map pocket here, vents back here, and USB-Cs at the bottom, which is on this top of the line XLE. You can get on the XSE as well, for example. And the vents back here are standard, so even if you get the base grade, your occupants in the back will be air conditioned. There's an armrest here with cup holders in it. Head space is actually really good here, so well done Toyota with the head space. Just a pretty basic back seat. It's a little small for me, so I'm going to get out. If you do not want a black interior, you have to get the non-hybrid, as far as I'm aware. The hybrid only comes with a black interior. Now, You have two different black interiors, one with blue accents and one with just black. So we have this new Portobello interior. It's, I guess, nice, this soft tax. It's comfy. Is it as comfy as the hybrid? Actually, I think the hybrid seats are a little bit more comfortable, but it's a wash, to be honest. It's gonna be very similar. We have a new 10.5-inch screen. 10.5-inch screen is frustrating because it has no volume knob. So if you want a volume knob, don't get this XLE or XSE. You got to get a smaller screen, which comes with the volume knob. All right. Otherwise, you're just smashing the buttons on the steering wheel or over here. Okay. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto does work really well here. It is smooth, but you do have to stabilize your hand around the screen, the bezel. Otherwise, it's just kind of, you're going to be all over the place. AC is ice cold in here, just like the hybrid. Climate control features are awesome. You know, dials here for temperature, fan buttons here. What more can you ask for? New wireless Qi tire charger in the back. It works better than old Toyota charger, so I'm happy about that. You still have your high-low heated seats. Buttons are just a little bit easier to get to now. Heated steering wheel. You have this leather shift boot, and you have a leather wrapped steering wheel, which looks and feels really, really good here. All right, physical buttons, perfect. Behind the steering wheel is a new 12-inch screen. Well, new for the Corolla Cross because, you know, the RAV4 has it, the Camry has it, the Grand Highlander, etc. All right, so many other Toyota Lexus products have this big 12-inch digital screen. The 7-inch screen is standard now, which is an upgrade over the old 4-inch screen. So improvements there. Like I said, the JBL audio is really surprisingly good here. I enjoy it more in this car than I do in the Camry. Go figure. Underneath the little armrest is another USB and a 12 volt that should be in the cargo area, but it's not. So let's go ahead and start driving the Corolla Cross refresh for 2026, non-hybrid. There we go, there we go. Okay, we did it. Okay. That was exactly 2 seconds slower, 0 to 60, than the hybrid. 2 seconds, 9.2 seconds, and 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, 9.8. Okay, the hybrid did it in 7.2 seconds. So 2 seconds slower, 0 to 60. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but it does feel, it could just be due to maybe slightly different tires on the two different cars, which I didn't even look. I'll have to look to see if there are different tires on the hybrid or non-hybrid, but the ride seems to be a little bit more firm here on the gas model than it does on the hybrid. And again, I don't know if it's just placebo or I'm making it up, but it feels a little bit more jittery here. Okay, this does have all-wheel drive. If you get the front-wheel drive Corolla Cross, it goes to a torsion beam in the back, so the ride quality would be even worse than what I'm having here. Like, I'm getting 31 miles per gallon. Actually pretty decent. Now, that's, I would say, mostly highway, but still nowhere close to the 45, 46 I was seeing on the hybrid. It's not as quiet in town either. The hybrid is eerily quiet in town. Not the case here. And man, I just hope I get to a better road because it seems like it's the road noise in here is noticeably louder than the hybrid at lower speeds. On the highway, they're about the same. Most of it is wind noise, and it's not terrible wind noise, just, you know, that's what you're going to hear the most. And the hybrid has an advantage here as well. So as I'm waiting at this light, I should probably turn on my turn indicator, I feel a little bit of vibration just sitting here as the engine has a very mild rumble to it, okay? And in the hybrid, the engine turns off when you're at a stop. What about the brakes? The brakes feel maybe a hair more predictable compared to the hybrid's brakes. So I'll give that advantage here to this model. A little bit more predictable, also a little bit more firmness to the pedal instead of the more squishy hybrid pedal. Again, I have no major issues with the hybrid pedal. This one just feels a hair bit better. Now, when the AC is on, and the compressor is running, it taxes the engine more and you feel it vibrating around a bit. I'll turn auto start stop off. But like right now with the AC compressor off, no vibration. It's really, really, really smooth idle here. I feel nothing in the floor, the pedals, the dash, the steering wheel. Maybe a little bit in the steering wheel because I'm trying for it, but like it's a very, very smooth idle. But you need to run the AC. And when the compressor kicks in, there's the rumble, the small little 2-liter rumbling. Okay, so let's talk about this CVT. Okay, what if you give it a medium or less throttle, it tries to get out of that first gear as soon as possible. There's no one behind me, so I'm going to come to a stop again. I'm going to give it maybe a little bit more throttle. Yeah, no. Oh, that's even worse. So this is the same sort of thing I had with the Corolla. With the first gear, true first gear, then it goes into, you know, the variable transmission after that, the CVT. It doesn't take advantage of its first gear, like hardly at all. It tries to jump out of it as fast as it possibly can at like 8 to 10, maybe 12 miles an hour, unless you're full foot down. And so it jumps out of the first gear prematurely, and then you just have no power or torque to pull it out to this super low synthesized gear from the CVT. It's an odd experience. It's not a good experience. Nowhere close to as refined as the hybrid is when you're just pulling away from a stop. So if you're driving a ton of highway with your Corolla Cross, I think you might be better off with this, okay? Because most of the hybrids gains, due to the silent running or the near silent running in town, the super high efficiency that you get in town with the hybrid, with the regen braking, and the battery electric assist on the hybrid. But once you get on the highway, let's say this gets about 30, what is it rated at? Let me see here. It's rated at 31 on the highway. Again, I'm seeing about 32, 33 at this point, but that's what it's telling me. It might be worth it to get this over the hybrid. If it were my money and I drive mostly in town, there would be no question. I would 100% spend the extra money and get the hybrid. So the non-hybrid Corolla Cross still has like a pretty decent value, I would say. It's just that the hybrids, while vastly superior in operation and fuel economy and power, acceleration, etc., it starts running into the issue of, well, why don't you just spend maybe a hair more and get a RAV4 hybrid with better efficiency? To finish this off, let's talk about value real quick. This XLE is $35,000. You know, I know that the hybrid starts for a lot less. The hybrid starts upper 20s. I would take a base hybrid over this model, okay? Just because I enjoy the powertrain so much more. More power, more efficiency, smoother, quieter, more responsive, etc. Okay, so it's just a night and day difference. And you know, it's just, unless you're getting a base like L or maybe even LE Corolla non-hybrid, this XLE makes no sense to me. Okay, personally, makes no sense. 35K, you can get all sorts of RAV4s for that price that are similarly equipped to this and have a volume knob. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the comments. If you had to pick between the gas Corolla Cross and the hybrid Corolla Cross, let me know what you'd be picking. Or would you just say, hey, I'll just get the new RAV4 coming out. I'll save my pennies for that. Have a great day, guys. Peace.